Okay, now we're getting to the part where we're going to add our actual sources that we've already found. So I'm talking about the sources that you should have saved by now in your Phase 1 research folder. Okay, so in your Phase 1 research folder, you should have ideally only 3 sources. Okay, if you have 4, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because if anything you do wrong on the 4th one, you'll still get penalized, but you actually only need 3. So really, please try to stick to 3. Okay, so you should have these saved already in a previous step that we've done. And now we're going to see how to add the bibliographical information in the document that we have over here. Now, the PAT document requires that we add the following information for websites: an author, publisher, or organization. So if the specific author who wrote it, like Mr. John Doe, isn't available, we just specify the organization as the author. So if it doesn't say who the specific person was, we just say the organization was the author, and then we call it a corporate author. The name of the website and the web page. This example actually only shows the web page, I think. I'll show you the difference now. The date created or updated, so that's when the website date was done. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to put a link in for you how to find Mr. Matthew Haynes made a great video on how to find a website date if there is absolutely no date. There is a way, but in general, you can just use the copyright date anyway on the page, so it's not like it's a train smash. Then, a little bit of theory. You need to understand why we include the date accessed and what it is, die toegangsdatum. Jy moet verstaan wat dit is. The date accessed will always be after the date it was created or updated, okay? Because the date accessed is when you last accessed or saved that source. And it's important because that's your way of saying, listen, when I looked at that source, that's what it said. Because sometimes sources online can change, it can be deleted, it can be updated. So your way of saying that, it's basically saying, don't hate on me. It's changed after I actually accessed it. So date accessed is a way of basically clearing yourself of saying, when I accessed that source, that's what the information said. And then the URL is straightforward, but please pay attention. It's the address online. It's not the address on the server or the file location where you saved it. So it has to start with HTTP, otherwise it's not a URL. Okay, maybe www, but not something else. Okay, and then other sources as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few examples of different ones. So please, you can jump in the video to the sections of the examples that you need. You don't need to go and look at all the examples. If you know how to do it yourself, then you're more than welcome to go ahead and do it yourself. The most important thing, before you do anything else, don't skip this video. Basically what you need to do now, the most important thing, references, change your style to Harvard. Okay, otherwise you won't have the date access thing that you need to put in. So change your style to Harvard, and we're going to add all our sources under Manage Sources. New, and you're going to add them one by one over here. Whether it's a journal article, some of them might be journal articles, whether it's a website. When it's a website and you just have like the year, like the copyright date, then website is great. Document from a website is when it's like a news article that has a year, month, and a day. Then it's good. So you'll see any of these, if you click in it, it gives us an example at the bottom of what you should type in there. And then over here, we get other things like an electronic source, film, an interview, miscellaneous. So I'm going to do a few examples for you. We're going to start off just with a regular website. When we're done with adding the 3 sources, we're going to put screenshots of the sources in our document over here. Okay, so first off, what I want you to know is if you're working with a source, so now you've opened something, and you can't actually find everything you're looking for. So you've opened your PDF, you can't find everything you're looking for. Try to go to the actual website again if you have internet access. So see if you can go there, and then maybe you can find more information. If it's not a clickable link, you can always go and search like a sentence or two. Go and search the web for that, and then you should be able to find it quite easily as well. Right. Now in this instance, you'll see the website is the Western Cape Government. Okay. And the web page, you can always find, it should be like quite a key topic or like a key heading. But if you're unsure, I always look at the tab name. The tab name gives me an indication of the article name, which is the web page name. Okay. And we need that. So the web page name is an introduction to the Protection of Personal Information Act. And they don't actually list a specific author over here. I don't think they do. I don't see anything. The date, it says the content on this page was last updated on the 6th of October 2020. That's good. There's no author, so I'm going to list the Western Cape Government as the author. And let's see how we're going to complete this. So manage sources, new. Because I have a date, a month, and a year, I'm going to use document from website. It's not an individual, so it's not an author, it's a corporate author. Corporate author. And the article, name, and introduction, it's this one. And they give us the, oh, it didn't copy all of it. Hey, I need to go and get the rest. Now you'll see on the PDF version, let's see if we can actually find the date. On the PDF version, it actually doesn't give me the date when it was updated. But when I looked on the website version, it gave me the date. So the online version, it shows me the 6th of October 2020. Now let's see, year goes in over here, 2020. If you wonder, remember you can just tab between these fields, hey? If you're wondering whether you must type in October or 10, you can see here it shows us the example. Must be October 6th. Now when did I access this? Now this is up to you and your teacher, but I'd prefer that you actually use the date that the document was saved. So whatever sources gets provided to you, just have a look at the date that it was modified, okay? And use that as the date. In my class, I'm going to say they must use that because that's the date since when it could have been modified again. But please check with your teacher. So use the date that you've saved the PDF or that someone else saved the PDF, the date modified, as your year, your month, and your day accessed. And then lastly, our URL. Now the URL, be very careful please, is not this. This is where it is saved. Do you see? It shows me file, my drive. This is where it's saved. The URL is this. So you can right click here and copy link. Or you're going to copy the original URL once you've actually opened the website. So please be very careful of that. It has to start with HTTP. And now you're done with your first website. Next up, we're going to look at a journal article. Now, if you're unsure whether something is a journal article, you can basically look for two things: lots of authors and an abstract. If there's an abstract at the top, then you know you're dealing with a journal article. Now, they're not always going to follow the exact same format, but we can get a general idea of how to do that. So let me try to help you. I'm going to use this half screen. Okay, so this time I'm going to choose a journal article. So I've said new journal article. The author will be these 4 people separately. Okay. So if I'm going to add 4 different people, I need to go to edit and add them separately. Now, this will be the first name. This will be the last name. Okay. So I'm going to add them one by one. Okay, all done. So you'll see they're all listed there now. Now the title of this journal article will be this long thing. Let's see if we can copy it all at once. No, I have to do it one line at a time. Control C and Control V is your best friend. Okay, the journal name I would think is this, SMU Data Science Review. It's not letting me copy that. Right, the year 2018. I'll look for the pages now, but it shows me here the page, the volume 1. So, but it shows here it must be in Roman numerals. But I'm just going to type it the way it is on the document itself. So volume 1 and article, issue article, I think will be around about the same thing. So I'm going to call that 13. And pages, sometimes it actually, there you go. Here, volume 1. No, sometimes it shows pages at the top. It actually shows you on which pages these are. But in this instance, it doesn't actually show me that. So don't worry about that. That's not an issue. In this instance, I actually have a URL for it. So I'm going to copy the URL. Let's say copy link. And you can go to show all bibliography fields. And if you have any extra information, you can add it there. So I'm going to paste the URL in there since I have it anyway. I'm going to close that again. So now I've got enough information and I can say, okay. Okay, for my last example, I'm going to look at a video. So I'll go to new and I'm going to choose for a video. I find usually electronic source works the best. Okay, the author I'm going to use as the person doing the talk. If I know who the talk is, if I know who the person is doing the talk. In this instance, it's ironic. It's a TED talk delivered by Ted Myerson. The title of the talk is Big Data Needs Big Privacy. Oh, no, it's not an article in a periodical. Come on, electronic source. There you go. City, I had to play the video for a little while to check that it's in New York. It doesn't really matter if you don't have all of this. In general, you're going to do the same thing as I showed you earlier. You show all the bibliography fields and everything you have access to, you fill it in. Okay, so I'm going to put in the URL as well because I have it, and anything else that you do have access to. The publisher will be the channel name. Like if you watch this on YouTube, I'll put the publisher as the channel name as the publisher. In this instance, I'll just call it TED because TED is the publisher. And the year was July 2016. So I'll see if I can put a month as well. Okay. All right, so now that I have my 3 sources, I can finish this first, and I'm going to now get ready to take screenshots and put these 3 sources as screenshots in my document. So I'm going to go and open my snipping tool and open up your Manage Sources bar again and start with your current list. So you're working on your current list. This is the document. This is the list in your current document. And you're going to choose Edit. Now, each time what you're going to do is you're going to just take a snip of this source. I wouldn't bother about snipping too much. I would just snip about like this. I would snip about to the edge of the language box. Basically, your teacher just needs to see that you filled everything in. They don't actually need to see everything that you filled in. They just need to see that it has been filled in, if you understand what I mean. Because otherwise we're sitting with boxes that are so gigantic that it's too big. Okay, now you're going to see if you say, okay, let's say you did make a change. I'm just going to do something here now to show you. If you made a change, it's going to ask you the source exists in your master list and your current document. Do you want to update both? You always say yes, because then it updates the source on your physical computer and on the document that you're working in. You close that, and now you can go and paste the screenshot that you've just done. And then you just do the same for the other 2 sources as well. Right, for many people at this point, it starts annoying them that the sources are on their same pages like this. So it might be good to put in page breaks so that each source can be on its own page. But that's not an absolute must. You don't have to do that for marks or anything. It just works well. Right, so what we've done up to now is we've actually been working in phase 1 now. We've got at least 2 websites and at least 1 other source, a web source from another type. And we have actually included all our bibliographical information for all our sources. So these are lots of tick marks, but it counts 4 marks for those. So 4 marks for those and these 2 marks. And next we're going to start working on those 10 questions based on our research.